Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk here on this Sunday night. You are with Eric Weber. We have a massive show tonight. We have so much to cover, and we start with box office because that's what Sunday night is. It's a breaking down the numbers and figuring out exactly what succeeded, what didn't succeed, and we know one thing that did not succeed. It was Bros. Bros did not go this weekend. It just didn't happen. Now, I'm going to pull up something that you're not going to see anywhere else but here on MMT, and that's why I bring these things to you, because I know you appreciate seeing things like what you're looking at, okay? So what are you looking at? You're looking at the Bros demographic breakdown directly from Universal. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because we need to discuss what happened. And what happened was Bros opened at $4.8 million. That is a very bad number, to put it nicely, okay? This is a film that we wanted to see at least get maybe to 10. And even then, I think that's under where it should be for a rom-com. Now, I understand this is not a traditional rom-com, and we'll get into exactly what that means. I think you know when I say that, what it means. But real quickly, here are the demographics for Bros. Caucasian, 61%. Hispanic, 19. African-American, 6. Asian, 7. Okay, but here's the age stratification. So look here. This is what's interesting to me. So 13 to 17-year-olds, you only had 1%. It's an R-rated film, so that makes sense. Then you climb up to 14% for 18 to 24, 39% at 25 to 34, and then when you chunk 35 to 55 plus, you're looking at 46%. So it's really kind of a half and half, really everything to 34 and then after. What I don't see here, and what we really need to understand about this film, is what happened to the mainstream moviegoers who clearly did not support this film, okay? Now, Billy Eichner apparently went on a tweet storm today talking about what was going on with the film not firing at the box office. So let's pull that article up. This is directly from THR, a nice little breakdown of Eichner and him decrying homophobia after dismal opening. Okay, so let's go through this, and then I'm going to give you my comments. I'm going to get to your comments about why this film did not ignite this weekend. So Eichner didn't hold back when taking to Twitter, basically said this: everyone who isn't a homophobic weirdo should go see Bros tonight. You'll have a blast. It's special, uniquely powerful to see this particular story on the big screen, especially for queer folks. You don't get the opportunity often. I love this movie so much. Go Bros. Now, you guys know I saw this film on Thursday night. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. But there is a significant portion of the population that is not going to go support Bros. Okay, we have to understand that, and that's just the reality of it. Now, we're not talking about whether it's right or wrong, because that's not what we do here. We talk about what happened, not whether it's right or wrong. We're trying to do facts here. And bottom line, the mainstream moviegoer had no interest in Bros. So Universal, who's saying, hey, we're so proud of this film and all these wonderful things, because obviously they need to say that. And I'm sure they are proud of it. But remember, Hollywood is a business and you have to make money. Okay. So now, and we talked about this with The Northman. So this is really interesting. We're not just talking about a gay rom-com here. We're talking about the fact that when a certain type of film does not ignite at the box office, you're not going to see another one of those films tomorrow or the week after that or a month or even a year from now, because the sting is real. So when you go back, and I mentioned The Northman. So look at The Northman, right? They gave Robert Eggers $70+ million on that film. The budget's somewhere between 70 and 90, whatever it is. It's a lot of money for The Northman. And when that film did not do the business that Focus / Universal expected and hoped, I would say hoped more than expected, then the problem is going forward is the next time that there's some indie filmmaker that wants $70 million to make some film, they're going to say no. So let's bring that and imprint it on top of Bros. The next time that a studio wants to do anything like a film like this, they're going to say, but do you remember what happened to Bros? So that's why it's important, okay? Now, back to Billy Eichner saying homophobia. Listen, I don't think that's going to help, right? I mean, if you want people to see your movie, do you really want to trash potential audience members? Now, eh, I don't think that's fair. I mean, you could not want to see Bros and not be homophobic. You could just maybe not want to see the movie, okay? There's a lot of movies that I don't have a whole lot of interest in, but of course, you guys know I suffer through a lot of them for you, okay? But again, Eichner calling everyone who didn't go see it homophobic. Yeah, if I was Universal, I'd be like, listen, man, just accentuate the positive. Let's not go attack the people who didn't see the movie. Okay, let's get to the comments here. We got so much to get through, guys. I'm not even kidding you. We have so many topics. So we're going to do about 5 comments here on Bros. And then if you want to retalk and reset it, we can do it after we get through the slate. So many things tonight. Nobody went to see Bros because everyone was waiting for Black Adam. I guess that's one thing to say. Superhero movies is, I guess, one of the. I don't think that, obviously, tongue in cheek, right? Obviously, there is a lot of people waiting for the next big movie. We're going to talk about Smile in a moment, which, by the way, outperformed. Although we said it was going to do 20, so it's right about where we thought. My brother-in-law said he wasn't going to see this movie if there were guys banging each other. I said it's actually very hilarious. In my theater, I could tell I had a good time. I agree. Same here. But again, if your brother's not comfortable with that, let me just say, okay, this is, me, man. I am unvarnished. I like to be as truthful as possible. I don't like watching sex in movies, period. It always makes me feel uncomfortable, okay? Outside of the stuff that we view on the internet. You know what I'm saying? When I go to see a movie in a movie theater, I don't want to watch people bone one another. It just doesn't work for me, no matter what the sex is, no matter what is going on the screen. It just makes me feel I don't want to watch it. So I think that there's that aspect too. And having seen Bros, it leans into it hard. Okay. I mean, we're talking big time leaning into the sex. So that's going to make someone uncomfortable. And, so be it. We can't make these people not be uncomfortable. It doesn't work like that. So again, we're just trying to stick to facts here, but there you go. So your brother didn't want to see it. So I think that's another thing that is absolutely, I think, the number one thing. People did not want to see Bros this weekend, no matter how you spin it. Okay, let's get to topic number 2 tonight. Smile, and we'll come back to Bros if you want to. Smile opens big. Okay, this is a film that we had at 20 million. It comes in at 22 million, which is a little bit above what we thought. But remember, when we called this film as a $20 million film, we knew that people had seen this trailer and the teaser over and over and over. When? Throughout the entire summer, while they went to see Top Gun Maverick. So right off the bat, you're starting with a small horror film that almost went streaming. Paramount almost put this direct to streaming. And they said, wait a second, we've got a ton of impressions in front of our gigantic hit, the biggest hit of 2022, Top Gun Maverick. And now you have people watching the teaser and then the longer trailer in front of Maverick, and it ends up with a $22 million opening. This is a film that has a budget of, I believe, 17, somewhere around there. So it's already over that. It didn't open overseas, or it did open overseas. My bad on that. It did, and I believe it's at 35 overseas too. So all in 35. But you look here, Smile ranks as one of the better original horror openings this year. Obviously, beat Barbarian at 10, Invitation at 7, which was really low. And now we have 2 weeks until Halloween Ends. Why is that important? Because Halloween Ends is the next huge film. We know that. It's the next big film. It would be bigger if Universal had not slapped the day and date on it and say, hey, by the way, you can watch Halloween Ends at home like they did Halloween Kills. Difference is, we are not in 2021. We're in 2022. In COVID, no matter what you say, no matter what you believe, let me tell you, the word on the street is it's over. Nobody's living that life anymore. No one I know is. Even here in LA, which is like COVID freak central when it was going on. And again, if you are, that's fine. That's your thing. It's definitely not mine. But when you look at this film that's coming up, Halloween Kills, you've got that in the wings, but Smile now has 2 full weeks to ride. So next weekend it's going to do well. Next weekend we get an abysmal film in Amsterdam. I mean, it is one of the worst films I've seen in a very long time. It is going to tank hard. I mean, it is going to crash. like you have never seen. You think Bros was bad? Get ready, because Amsterdam is going to be worse. I'm calling it here tonight. And then you also have Tar, which is a small indie, it's focused. We know it's Kate Blanchett. I'm going to see it this week, but it's not a box office sensation, right? These are small films. So Smile will be able to hold, I bet you it holds better than -50. Let's say it maybe holds at -38 or something like that. Just let's throw a random number out there, because even though it has a B- cinema score, it has very good word of mouth. And even Paramount said that in the email today, that they are very happy with the word of mouth that Smile is generating. So that is a very good thing for them, as they have this runway until you get to Halloween Ends. Eric, Halloween Ends has absolutely no chance of being a scarier movie than Smile. Smile is, Ken, I'm glad you agree with me, because listen, let me tell you something, that I believe that Halloween Ends is, there's no chance, because Smile is legit creepy, legit eerie, and legit scary. And it's really strong. I said when I came out of the film, I believe this has a chance to become a horror cult classic. I really do. It delivers all the goods. And you look at Parker Finn as a director that I want to pay attention to in the next film. And by the way, we're going to talk about Hellraiser here in a moment. I've got my thoughts on Hellraiser. It's another thing that's coming. I told you this is a huge, gigantic show tonight. I'm happy for Smile. Scenario Shriver, I believe. I can't read that exactly, but welcome to the channel. It's the first thing I want to say to you. And thank you for watching. But yeah, I'm happy for it too, because the truth is that this is going to lead to more horror films, which I love. I mean, I got to be honest with you. You know, I run Awards Ace, and I love awards films. This week I'm going to see Till, I'm going to see Tar, and probably squeeze something else in there. But when you look at the films that I really get the most excited for, the most juiced for now, it's horror films. Like last week, I was super stoked to go see Smile. I drove 45 minutes one way to go see Smile. If it was like a smaller film, I might not do that. Gas prices are so much a pain in the ass to get from where I am to the other side of LA. So Smile, I was super stoked for, and it delivered. So I think of course I'm excited for Halloween Ends. But I was more, and I definitely can say this, more excited for Smile than Halloween Ends, because I think we've seen it so many times. We've seen Michael Myers do what he does ad infinitum, right? It's too much, and I think at this point, it really needs to be the end. Please, for the love of God, let's have Michael Myers get shredded like Hellraiser. That's what I want to see. Okay, let's go to topic number. We'll come back. Again, we're going to get through all these, then we'll come back and go wherever you want to go. Don't Worry, Darling took a tumble, a big tumble. Okay, -62%. We knew it was going to come. We knew it was going to happen like this, because we had that front loading last week where you had that really strong Thursday night and Friday, and then it just tailed off over the weekend. So you knew with that B- cinema score and the tail off opening weekend that this film was in trouble second weekend, but still all in, it's over 50 million worldwide. So this is not a bomb. Okay, this is not Bros we're talking about. Don't Worry, Darling. I think if you cornered the Warner Brothers execs, they would be happy with what they're getting. By the way, they did screen Don't Worry, Darling for Academy members on Saturday night. Olivia Wilde was there. I'm not sure who else, but I know she was there. And I think that Warner Brothers is going to try to turn this into an awards film. I like it more than a lot of you. Do I think it's an awards film? But I do think that Florence Pugh deserves to be in the discussion for Best Actress. No question about it whatsoever. Let's roll into the next topic, and then we'll go to a ton of comments from you. Hellraiser. I saw it last night. I wanted to watch it in a theater, but Hulu/Disney did not screen it for the press. They screened Prey, but they didn't Hellraiser. And after watching Hellraiser, I think I know why. Okay, this is hella violent. This is sadistic. I mean, we know the Cenobites are brutalizing creatures, right? Okay, we get it. I mean, I go back and I remember being younger and watching Hellraiser, the original in 87, right? And I remember going, oh my God. But I feel like what David Bruckner does with Hellraiser is more sadistic, more brutalizing. and certainly more even graphic. I mean, you just wait until you see Hellraiser. I'm telling you, the kills in this film are torture porny. I mean, I felt like I was watching a Saw movie. Now, I get it again. Cenobites, right? They are sadistic, terrible things, and they do brutalizing things to people. You're going to see that. You're going to see, I don't want to tell you what happened, but one of the scenes I go, whoa, what is Bruckner doing here? Okay. And then the final scene, it's like, I can't get it out of my head. That's how traumatizing that Hellraiser is. And I mean that. The final scene will stay with you for a really long time. I mean, I don't know if I'm ever going to shake it from my head. So, fair warning, if you're going to watch Hellraiser next weekend, it comes out, it streams on Hulu, just know that you're in for some absolutely sadistic, brutalizing kills, and some of these things you're not going to be able to get out of your head. So know that, and I know it's a Hellraiser film. Well, of course, it's going to be violent, but no. What Bruckner does here is next level. It's borderline NC-17 for me. Now, somehow it got an R rating, it looked like, and I don't even know why it has an R rating because it's not even going to theaters. The MPA traditionally just rates films that are theatrical. So this is, they played it, I guess, at Beyond Fest, but somewhere else. But I don't know why it even got a rating, but I'll tell you what, if I'm on the MPA, some of these scenes, I'm like, we are right up against the edge of NC-17. We're right up against the edge. Let's go. Any comments on Hellraiser? Let's do that, and then we'll circle back around. Hellraiser was spectacular. I agree with you. Listen, I will say this. Scenario, again, thank you. I'm just going to say scenario. It is strong in the kills. I think there is no question whatsoever that David Bruckner's superior film is The Night House. I mean, there's no comparison. I think Hellraiser is too long. I think Hellraiser has some questionable performances. I'm not in love with the script, but the kills are brutal. And it also takes too long to get going. I mean, the first hour, I kid you not, I almost sent a tweet an hour in going, I am bored out of my mind. It takes a long time to get going. But that second hour is just relentless and graphic and traumatizing. So when you get to it, know it, but you're going to have to, the first hour is just going to sit there. I would give it about a 7.5, 8. That's not extremely high for me. I know for some of you that's high. Remember, my grading scale is Richter scale-y. The higher you get, like a 9 to a 9.5, each little point, like a cinema score, is going to be so much higher. So a 7.5 is really like a C plus for me. It's not, I don't think it's the best reimagining of Hellraiser that we could have gotten. That said, I mean, I'm a huge fan of David Bruckner. I'm just suggesting to you that when I watch this film, aside from the kills, which are savage AF, the film doesn't work like The Night House. I mean, The Night House is really next level filmmaking. You've got Rebecca Hall. I think we really underestimate the importance of having an actor like a Rebecca Hall, right? When you have somebody like that in your film, everything just feels elevated, right? Because they're so talented. So when you watch a Hellraiser, you don't have that. And you have these younger actors that are just, a lot of them don't have a whole lot of credits. It's like traditional horror going back to like the 80s. It's not that bad at acting, right? Like Friday the 13th, but it's not there. The original Hellraiser is that way. Pinhead is barely in the first one. It takes a while, right? We don't even get to Pinhead this time until the second hour. I mean, I'm not giving away anything. But is Hellraiser not? This is good. We'll see. Good callback. I mean, amen. I mean, is Hellraiser not as violent as The Northman? Remember IGN? The Northman's not violent. The beheadings weren't enough and all the insanity that's in that film, it's not violent enough. If anyone says that Hellraiser 2022 is not violent enough, go ahead and remove any of their opinions going forward. We say that so many times, right? And I know it pisses people off. Like the other day, I would say, Eternals is not a masterpiece. Don't ever come in here and tell me it is. And people, oh, how dare you say that, Eric? You are elitist. I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to actually, instead of attacking the point, which is Eternals is not a masterpiece, you're going to go off and say, oh, what an elitist. You don't know. How dare you tell people what to think? Like, oh, God, be better. If you want to come in here and attack, right, which is totally cool, Come in with facts, come in with strong opinions. Don't just come in and go, oh, well, that's not very nice to say. I'm like, what the hell is that? What? That's not my goal in life to be nice. I don't want to be a dick, but I also don't want to be like, oh, Mr. Nice Guy. Hey, everybody. How you doing today? There's okay. All right. Okay. When I go derailing a little bit, I'll go derail. There is a certain, I'm not going to say who it is because I'm not going to do this. There is a certain member of the press who's here in LA. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing, but it's true. It is true. They come into screenings and it's like, hey, everybody, how you doing? I'm like, what the is going on? Who is this person? That's not who I am, guys. You guys should know that by now. I do not walk into, hey, everybody, how you doing? Hey. I mean, that would be like absolutely antithesis of who I am. That said, if you come up and say hi, like ask Gone Girl. Gone Girl see me in Burbank. I'm pretty cool. I think. I don't know. Would Gone Girl say that? I'm very excited for Hellraiser. There's Gone Girl. You should be. If you want to see something that's going to scar you, then Hellraiser is the film. I mean, it's just brutal. Brutal. Rob, good evening to you. I'm interested in seeing Hellraiser just because of Bruckner as director. I thought Night House is listen, again, Night House, far superior film. Overall, direction, performances, cinematography, everything about the Night House is superior to Hellraiser. I think in a weird way, and I really bang studios. I want to just bash them when they do not release these films theatrically. When I watch Hellraiser, remember, I'm focusing, all you hear me really talk about with Hellraiser are the kills, which are, again, savage, okay, which are scarring, all of these things. But when I watch Hellraiser, the film, I'll tell you what, it doesn't feel as theatrical as I want it to. That doesn't mean the creature design isn't great. That doesn't mean that I believed the world. There's just something about it that doesn't feel elevated, just a little bit down. And because of that, then I understand a little bit more why Disney, Hulu didn't go theatrical on this. They wanted to drive subscriptions, which they will because there's a lot of interest in this film. But I'm saying to earn a theatrical badge, I just feel like it's a little bit mid. Not mid, but just like mid plus. It's again extremely violent. I'm just telling you, if you put Night House and Hellraiser next to each other, right, and you look at them from a technical aspect, Night House just absolutely destroys Hellraiser. I think I want to see David Bruckner next film. I think Hellraiser is a step down from Night House. I mean, I absolutely do. So, all right, let's go. I got one more thing, then we're going to get into whatever comment you want to do. Actually, two more, but this is important, this one here. What is Apple thinking with Emancipation? Let me lay this out for you. For those of you who do not know what Emancipation is and what, Apple is doing here. Okay, so Apple has this Will Smith film called Emancipation. It's in the can. They've been waiting. They don't know what they're going to do with this. We thought we were going to get it this award season, right? So between now and the end of the year. But we all know we don't need to go back in and describe what happened at the Oscars, 6 months ago now. But we know what happened with Will Smith and the slap. So now you have Apple screening Emancipation in DC. Okay, so we go to IndieWire for this. And it says Will Smith watched the film with an audience for the first time, private event in DC. So it's Antoine Fuqua, this new action thriller. It is about an escaped slave on a harrowing journey to the north. I mean, it sounds great, right? I mean, I'm totally all in on the film. Okay, and apparently they had a very large, Congressional Black Caucus, historically black college and universities, a bunch of folks there in D.C. to see this. NAACP, Derek Johnson saying, I had the pleasure of watching it. It's very powerful. It's our history. All of this, right? Special screening of the film. Okay, so I want to make sure everyone understands. When I say that Emancipation is an issue, it's not because of the film. Let me tell you why. That Apple should not be releasing Emancipation this year. In fact, I don't even know why they screened it. I think it's almost like a test, right? Let's have a test run. Let's screen it and see what happens. I'm telling you here tonight, and this is what I really want to specialize one day. I want to get paid to walk in to Apple tomorrow and say, okay, let's meet. Here comes the consultant, EW, and I'm going to come in and I'll say, listen, you guys have a really good film here. Let's assume I saw it and I think it's good, which I think it probably is. you have to understand that we are 6 months post slap. And Apple, as I talk to you here, you cannot release this film this award season. You've got to hold it until next award season. Let me tell you why. Very simply, there is a very significant portion of the population that had a major problem with Will Smith and the slap. So, and that includes Oscar voters, awards voters. So, why would you put something out that is only going to lead to attention about what just happened 6 months ago when you can avoid it more? It's never going to fully go away, right? It'll always be there somewhere. But time heals all wounds, right? So give it a year, and then people aren't talking about the Will Smith slap hardly at all. We're only 6 months past. And I think there's again, on Twitter, when I put this out last night, there were people that were like, oh, just let it go out there. Will Smith, I don't care about it. But that's, again, remember, like we talked about with bros, just because you don't have a problem with it doesn't mean someone else doesn't have a problem with it. They might have a problem with it. So why would you risk this massive, expensive film? It's got a big budget on it. Why would you put it out now when you're going to be, when it comes out, everyone's like, oh, Will Smith, and you know the questions are going to come out about the slap thing. A year from now, it's going to die down. So Apple, do not release this film this year. Do not do it. It would be the stupidest move you ever made. Again, not about the film, not about Will Smith. I think he can be saved, right? I don't think he's gone, but I just do not release it this year. Do not release Emancipation this year. There is no chance that I want to do that. I'm calling dibs on vice presidency of EW Entertainment Consult. Oh, watch out. As soon as you start saying EW, there come all the haters on Twitter. Oh, who does he think he is? Entertainment Weekly? I'm like, oh, yeah, that's exactly. Because my name is not Eric Weber EW. It's because I want to be Entertainment Weekly. God almighty. That was like that's why I finally just changed it. Why do I want to be Entertainment Weekly? My own thing. I don't need to go work for Entertainment Weekly. Screw them. I'll do my own thing. I don't want to do a podcast or a show for anyone else, because you know what's going to happen if that happens? I'm going to end up at a Variety, at a Deadline, at a THR, and they're going to watch one of these streams and go, Eric, you can't say that. You can't say Apple don't release Emancipation. You can't say that Amsterdam is a horrific film. You can't do these things. I'm like, well, then forget it. We're not going to do this at all. So that's why we do this show. Because I don't have to have people tell me what to do. Because that's when the show's good, is when I am unchained. But a lot of these people who work the trades, right? If you work for Variety, THR, Deadline, you are beholden on the studios for money for advertising, right? So what do you have? You are now chained to the system. And you have to say the right things. And to this point, my last thing, and then we're going to go right into your comments. I did not get an invite to Hustle's big party last night at, I almost said where it was, in West Hollywood. Adam Sandler was there along with Dustin Hoffman. Netflix is trying to make the film you see right up there. I have it just on the edge of the screen. Hustle. They're trying to make Adam Sandler a Best Actor candidate. I said when that thing showed up, I told you the night I had it, I said, Hustle's not an awards film. And Adam Sandler's performance is not a Best Actor thing. So guess what happened? Everyone I know who is a member of Critics' Choice, including me, got an invite, to my knowledge, to go to this Adam Sandler party. Not me. I didn't get an invite. But here's the funny thing, is that I told you guys Netflix is not happy. Because you know how I just savaged the hell out of the Gray Man. And then I say Adam Sandler is not a contender. That's not going to go over well, right? But here's the funny thing is, Netflix, send an invite. Do you think, this is where I think it's funny. Do you think that I would actually show up at an Adam Sandler event for Hustle when I don't believe in the film? Do you think I could actually say Adam Sandler has no chance as a Best Actor? Like, I don't even see it. It's not even something I can even comprehend. Do you think I would walk into a party with Adam Sandler there and all the Netflix people after saying that I didn't say it's a bad performance. I said, I don't think it's a Best Actor performance. I would never walk into a party and say, hey, Adam Sandler, oh my God, you're so great in Hustle. That's what makes me different than a lot of these people out here. They say the things they're supposed to say, right? I saw a movie the other night. I can't talk, well, I could talk about, but let's just say I saw a movie the other night and I was not that high on it. And then right afterwards, we had to go to a little after party with, I had to, okay, but okay, we were going to the after party, and there's the director, and there is some other people, and I said, I'm not really high on this film, so I'm not going to seek out the director or anyone involved because I don't want to lie. I don't want to say things that are fake, and I don't do that. So Netflix, you could have invited me. I wouldn't have shown up. I mean, I wouldn't have come. It's like last year, I trashed Licorice Pizza. Do you think I went to the Licorice Pizza party? I mean, come on, guys. No, but do you think I would go to the Pearl party? Do you think I would go to the X party? Think I'd go to the Top Gun Maverick party? Of course I would, because I believe in these things. That's what makes me different than, I told you, 99.9% of the people out here. There's a lot of fake people in this business, okay? And they say whatever they're supposed to say to get access. I don't give a shit. Ultimately, if they pull me off the list and say, Eric, you can't watch a Netflix movie, I'll watch it at home, or frankly, I just won't watch it if we're going to play that game. Because here's the reality of it, too. I will praise a film and then trash a film from the same studio. What do you want? Do you want me to come on and say every movie's great? That's not who I am. So you have to understand that with the praise comes the hammer. The two things are synergistic, right? So if you can't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. But in Hollywood, they don't like that. They don't like the hammer. But the reality is the hammer has to come out. Because otherwise, what value are you to the viewer? What value are you to anyone who reads you, who listens to you? Whatever it is, you have no value because your words don't mean anything. I said this before. There's a certain person, I'm not going to go into where it is, but I said that certain person can never be a film critic because they have to say good things about films because they work in an outlet that promotes movie tickets, okay? Does that make sense, right? So if you work for somebody that sells movie tickets, do you think you could come out and say, oh my God, Amsterdam's the worst film of the year? No. In fact, I guarantee if you go look at that person's feed, you would see Amsterdam is an entertaining little ditty featuring very strange performances that still worked at whatever the hell it said. I don't even know. See, I can't even think of anything good to say about Amsterdam. So the point is be real, be unvarnished. Otherwise, why? There's no reason to do this. There's none at all. I would rather not do it. So I'm sorry I did not get invited, but I wouldn't have gone, Netflix. I wouldn't have gone. Tonight's kit, LAFC, which, by the way, in MLS playoffs are like days away, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go to open comment time. Anything you want to do? We just laid out a whole ton of stuff. We've got Hellraiser. We've got Bros sinking. We've got Smile outperforming. We've got Don't Worry Darling falling. And we've also got Emancipation. Is it going to come out this year? I say no. Let's get into the comments. I'm going to roll all the way back. Anyone who has a comment, if I missed you, here we go. Let's do it. Give me a second. I got to go through here. The era of theatrical rom-coms are gone. Stanford 0711. Thank you for welcoming. Thank you for coming to the channel. And let's talk about what you just said. I agree that there is a problem with rom-coms. They're not performing like they used to because there's so much of it on streaming. But I totally disagree with Scott Mendelson. I believe someone has a comment about Mendelson. I think it was Aaliyah. Mendelson said today that nobody went. And I don't think that that's true. Obviously, it made 4.8. I understand that's not big. But, I mean, are you telling me? I think that the gay community supported the film. Did they support it at a level that made it like, you know, a surprise kind of, I wouldn't say hit, but at least achieve more than we expected? No. But if you look where it performed well, where do you think it performed well? LA, New York, Chicago, San Francisco. I bet you it did well in Columbus, Ohio. And anywhere that there's a big, my hometown, Columbus, has a very big gay population. When you have West Hollywood, which of course is LA, but if you look at the theaters that are near the areas such as a West Hollywood, like AMC Century City, I'll bet you Bros did some of the best numbers there. So what it tells you is that these films are only for certain places and certain audiences. That's just the reality of it. You can't make people want to go see Bros. You can't, man. You just can't make people want to do anything. I mean, if you don't want to watch Hellraiser, you're not going to watch Hellraiser. If you don't want to watch someone filleted, then you're not going to watch Hellraiser. I mean, why do we have to make it like homophobic or whatever? It just, they didn't want to go. Let's not call everybody who didn't see the film homophobic. I think that's, come on, man, be a little more responsible with your words. It just isn't smart. Drew Ryan, Amsterdam, 9. Oh, no. Giant timeout here. I need to have like a screen come up. It goes timeout. Drew, there's no world in which Amsterdam gets to 9. I think this film gets sub 4. I don't care what the screens are. This is a terrible film. And I don't even know who the audience is. The trailer's bad, the film's worse, and then you look at Amsterdam and you say, who's going to see this film? It's a niche-ish, art house-ish thing, right? It's David O. Russell. I understand he's had hits, Silver Linings Playbook, even Joy did pretty well. But this isn't even that. This doesn't even... Who's the draw here? Christian Bale doing his happy Jon Favreau thing. It's really weird. It's not even... None of it's good. I said this when I came out of Amsterdam to you guys. There's not one single aspect of Amsterdam that I can recommend. Not one. I mean, that is so rare to walk out of a film and not have one thing that you at least identify as, you should see this film to watch Christian Bale. You should watch this film to see Margot Robbie. There's not a single aspect of Amsterdam that deserves your time. It is that bad. And now I'm off Disney's list. Oh my God. But then I turned around and praised Thor Love and Thunder when other people were hating it. So this is what we talked about, the yin and the yang. You have to be able to understand that I'm going to love something and then trash the next. It is what it is. What do you want me to do? What, you want me to be fake? You want me to come on here like, oh my God, you want me to you want me to do this? Oh, don't even bring his name up. Don't bring it. Oh, everything's so great. Oh, it's the best movie ever. Oh my God, did you see that? What the are you doing, dude? Who are you? Are you even a real person? But yet that person has millions of people who watch. It's like, do the people who watch those videos have operating brains? Because I watch it and I go, what is this? It's not even watchable. It's so bad. It's just terrible. What stands out about being abysmal about Amsterdam? Well, that is a very pointed question, and there's so many things that we could pick. But I will say this, superhero movies. The worst part of Amsterdam is that it's trying to be a clever, witty, screwball-y kind of film, and it just absolutely misfires every which way you want to go. From the performances, which are trying too hard, to the script, which is completely unfunny, to the fact that it's overlong. There's no single thing you can directly point to and say, this is why Amsterdam is bad. It's all terrible. This is an unwatchable film to the point where you're going to be so dead bored watching these actors try so hard to save the film. You see, when you watch Amsterdam, you see a lot of actors, everyone in the film, trying to save what they know is a film that's going seriously sideways. That's what you see when you watch Amsterdam. You see Christian Bale going, okay, I'm going to amp this up a little bit more. Then you see Margot Robbie. Oh, then you see John David Washington. Well, okay, everyone but John David Washington. Oh, God. Here comes the hate. But Amsterdam is so bad. Just don't do it. Don't go see it. Honestly, guys, I don't mess around. Whenever I say something like that, you've got to take it seriously. Like, we need to have an intervention right now. Don't go see Amsterdam unless you really have 2 hours and 10 minutes of your life to completely grab and throw into a flaming dumpster. Otherwise, you have no business sitting through it. There's not a single reason to go see Amsterdam. I don't say that about films hardly ever. I mean, name a film. Hit me with a film that's bad, and I'll tell you one thing that is good about it. Amsterdam, 0 things. Why did horror movies get low cinema scores? I think it should have been A-4. We're talking about Smile here. Because, remember, cinema score is mainstream audiences, right? So when you have a low cinema score, 9 times out of 10 or greater, the ending is effed. It's a messed up ending where something bad happens instead of something good. So when you go to horror, what typically happens at the end of a horror film? The lead character dies, something bad happens, and I think we all know that if you haven't seen Smile, guess what? And Hereditary, way lower. So Smile at a B- is a lot better than Hereditary. I believe at a D+ was Hereditary. I know Uh, X or no, Pearl was a D. No, Pearl was a B minus. What the hell was the other one that was just recently D plus? Whenever the ending is super dark and someone bites it, who the audience likes, they don't want that. So if you saw Smile, I'm not going to give it away if you haven't seen it, but let's just say that if the main character had a different outcome, then it's a better grade, right? I mean, doesn't it make sense? Bodie, good evening to you. Welcome back. I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? By most accounts, it was supposed to do for Eichner what Forgetting Sarah Marshall did for Jason Segel. Oh, I love Jason Segel. He's such an underrated actor. Sad times for theatrical studio comedy these days. Yes and no. Remember, again, listen, we just tell truths here. We're not spinning shit. At the end of the day, the population of gay people in the world, let's just use the United States, is smaller than the population of heterosexual. So can you guys come on? That's right. So as such, when you have a film that is catered to the smaller portion of the pie, when we just look at it from a numbers aspect, then of course the film that is catering to a smaller portion of the pie is going to make less money, right? I mean, it's not hard to figure out, okay? And before anyone says, "Oh, well, Eric's homophobic," okay, first of all, I don't know how you could get that from that. You can talk to any of my buddies out here in LA. Where do I always want to drag my friends? Gore will come on and tell you. I could call him up right now and put him on and say, "Gore, where do I always try to drag you when we go out?" And guess what he's going to say? He's going to say West Hollywood. Hello? I love going out in West Hollywood. It's fantastic. But again, when you have a movie that's for a smaller portion of the pie, then you're going to have a smaller number. And the problem with Bros is that it didn't capture the bigger portion of the pie at all. Okay. And I would argue it even captured a small portion of the smaller pie, right? Because it's only at 4.8 million. Now, I understand there's a hurricane that rolled through that, but that didn't affect, listen, you can't say the hurricane. If not for the hurricane, Bros would have made, 50 million. No, because the hurricane was in Florida, in Georgia, North Carolina. It wasn't in New York, LA, Chicago, San Francisco, Columbus, Ohio. So remember, that's just the reality, right? Guys, come on. I'm right. Come on. Someone come on and say, "Oh, but Eric, you're wrong." No, because I'm right. I'm right. Here it is, Aaliyah. Per Scott Mendelson in one of the articles, I'm clearly in the minority. I loved Amsterdam. So, oh, God, no. I thought this was something. Devolving into a bitter contrarian. Smile is so far superior to Amsterdam. Don't Worry, Darling's superior to Amsterdam. Name a film superior to Amsterdam. Listen, I've said it before, and I'll have Scott on at some point, I'm sure, but I'm just going to say that Scott very often has some takes on films that make me scratch my head and go, "Whoa, what?" And he knows that. We've talked about it. We've absolutely discussed this in person, okay? So he knows that I'm not going to I love Scott. He's awesome. But from a film evaluation standpoint, sometimes I just go, okay, we are clearly not sharing the same brain. Conversely, I have a buddy out here, if you don't follow him, Jeff Ewing, super smart, love the guy. And whenever we see a film, I kid you not, we have the exact same notes every single time. So for whatever it is, our brains align. Mendelson and I definitely on evaluations don't align. So, but it's okay, but he's wrong. I mean, he's so wrong. Harry Styles' performance, Don't Worry, Darling, I thought it was lackluster. I think he's fine. I think there's been too much made about Harry Styles and the performance. I think ultimately it was fine. It's not a great performance. It's not an awards performance, but it also did not bring the film down. When you talk about performances that trash a film, you can't look at Harry Styles and Don't Worry, Darling. It's not that bad, okay? I don't care what you tell me. I know I've seen performances that literally destroy a film. When you see those, and it's not often, okay, there's actually one film, it's weird. It's one of these things that if I say it, then people are going to come after me, so I have to watch it. But I'm just going to say this. There was someone in a film recently that was so far beneath the people that were also in the film, the very strong acting, the person in the role that was way too big, honest to God, sabotaged the entire film. And that, when you watch it, and if someone knows out there, because I've had this discussion off the record with people and, not on Twitter, but the person in this film literally nuked the film. to the point where you look at the actors in the film and you go, I feel bad for you. Because I think they know. Like, imagine if you're really good at something, like let's say we're spinning something right now and I'm going all blah blah, and then you get someone on like, well, so I think that you'd be like, oh, the whole thing like goes, the train crashes and everything derails. When you watch this film, I'm not going to say what it is, so don't even ask. If you hit me in the comments, I might. Okay, but this film is literally gutted by the performance that ruins the entire film. Harry Styles is not that. No way. Nope. Nope. Glad to see the resurgence of horror films while seeing Good Morning. It's so funny that some of you are like in the morning. It's 9:45 at night out here in LA. This year has been refreshing and awesome to see. Horror is the most interesting genre today. Not a question about it. When you look at directorial talent that's going to come out of horror and go on to great things. I could name so many people, from David Bruckner, Hellraiser, but more importantly, Night House. And then we're going to go to Rose Glass. Okay, even though Saint Maud's not really a pure horror film. I mean, are you kidding me? The direction on Saint Maud. And then you have Ty West. I mean, Ty West with X and then Pearl, but X is superior to Pearl, no question. But when you look at, let's just use those three. There's three. Bruckner, Glass, and then West. When you look at those three, you're talking about major directorial talents that'll go on to be big in this business, not just in the horror arena, but in other awards films to come. So horror is the best genre going. No question about it. 15-minute warning tonight. Although we could probably go, I'm not going to go longer. We do 1 hour. But I feel like we had so much to talk about. I feel like we did a good job tonight of getting through all the topics. So whatever you guys want to do, I think we did a very nice, good work tonight, team. Good job. Most people go out to see a movie if word of mouth is good and you don't want to show contempt for them for no reason. Eichner throwing blanket labels on Twitter is so lazy and what you shouldn't do. Rob, I said that at the top of the show, and I think, you're commenting on that. No question that is true. Eichner had no business today saying that the people who didn't see Bros were homophobic. That was not smart from a PR perspective. In fact, I haven't seen his Twitter lately. I'm not going to go. I don't want to do it right now. But I'll bet that Universal got a hold of him, because of course they can contact him, and said, listen, man, let's ease off on that, because we want people to see the movie. And when you say that the reason you didn't see the movie is because you're homophobic or whatever it is, what are your chances now, right? You have zero chance of anybody wants to see it. Now they're like, oh, okay, so if I don't want to see Bros, I'm homophobic. Then they're like, screw that. I don't even want to deal with this guy. I mean, we're so polarized in this world anyhow. Why would you want to throw more gas on the fire? So yeah, that was not a smart move by Eichner today. I totally agree with that 100%. Even if there's some shred of truth to it, just no reason to do that. There's no benefit to do it other than to vent. But again, I say this. You can't make people go do something. It doesn't work like that. You can't just say, hey, we made this movie, Bros, that's this groundbreaking gay rom-com, and people just want to go. You can't make people go see something they don't want to see. So ultimately, when the numbers come in, the numbers are the numbers, and well, they didn't go to see it. I mean, what else do you want to say? I mean, that's all there is to it. Florence Pugh is such a talent, and Chris Pine was strong, and don't worry, darling, I agree 100%. I mean, Florence Pugh is one of our best actresses going. I mean, young actress for sure. Don't Worry, Darling would have been better received, did better at box office. It had a different director name in front. Feels as if Olivia's personal life overshadowed the film. I said that when I came out. I said, if this film were directed by somebody else other than Olivia Wilde with the shit she's dealing with right now, you're looking at a film that is graded higher across the board. I think, honest to God, I really believe from a storytelling standpoint of all the elements at least working, I would say, and you guys are going to go, oh my God, Eric's lost it. I would say Don't Worry, Darling is stronger cohesively than Nope. I would. 100%. I mean, do I think that the movie making in Nope is superior? Yes, but I also think that Don't Worry, Darling is not a poorly conceived or produced film at all. I know some of you have problems with it, but I think that it works. I do. Overall, there's not anything that doesn't make sense to the average moviegoer. I go back to Nope. We said it so many times. I'm not doing it tonight. I'm not talking about Gordy, but the Gordy doesn't work. I don't want to hear any other opinions. It just doesn't work. Pass on Hellraiser. I'm done with torture porn. Saw Hostel. Well, I can tell you, it's very much that way. The last shot of this film is super mega violent and really troubling, and it will scar you. It will leave you, frankly, traumatized. And I'm okay with it now, 24 hours later. But after watching it, I kind of said to myself, I don't know if I needed to see that. But if you want to deliver an impactful visual on torture, then Bruckner does so at the end of Hellraiser. I'm just telling you guys that it was a little much for me. So if you don't, I'm just going to warn you guys, if you don't want to see that shit, then don't watch it. Oh yeah, sorry, we already did that one. Let's go. Let's get to some newer. I'm so far behind. Thank you, Gone Girl. Thank you for coming to my aid here and reinforcing the fact that I'm cool. Everyone needs to see a film with him just one time for his laugh. If his laugh doesn't make you laugh, then nothing will. Listen, I got to be honest. Thank you, Gone Girl. By the way, I really appreciate that. I'm very passionate. Okay. And for some people, that comes across as arrogant or whatever. It's not that, man. I swear to God. It's more just very energetic and very focused and very driven. So all those things can tend to maybe have people go, oh, but ultimately, as Gone Girl will tell you, and anybody who even, any of my friends here in LA, they'll say, on Twitter, I think you get a bad reputation. I would agree with that. But whatever, it is what it is. Again, I'm not in the business of trying to make everybody like me. That's not what I want to do. I don't want everyone to hate me, but I also am not going to hold back because I'm afraid someone will be offended by me saying, what I said about Bros tonight, or what I say about Amsterdam, whatever the film is. If you believe in it, you need to stand into it in your truth, right? Stand in your truth and deliver it. And if you don't do that, then we're not doing authentic stuff here. And I think that's what we try to do here. We want to be authentic. And I think you guys know from watching MMT here now for 6 months, it's very authentic and there's no holds barred. It is full on. And I think that is important. It is vital in what we do. And I go back to Siskel and Ebert and what they said in that little thing about PC. Being PC is the death of a critic. Wanting to be liked, death of a critic. That's such a great video. And when I watch that, I go, I didn't even need to see that. I already lived this. Like, I already know Gene Siskel. First of all, I love Gene Siskel. He's probably my favorite. No, he is my favorite film critic of all time. I like how he spoke. I like how he thought. I didn't always agree with him, but I loved his mind. And I think that when I hear that, I go, oh my God, that's who I am. And I think that's important because once you find your authentic self, you need to be that person. You can't be somebody else. Because if you're trying to be somebody else, like we talked about a certain YouTuber, there's plenty, that we watch and you go, that's not a real person. That's an act. They're not authentic. They don't believe in what they say. And I just say, you guys know, if there's one thing that you guys can say about this show and me, it is that that if I say it, it is real. There is no bullshit about this. I can't do it. I already did this. Yeah. Oh my God, the Entertainment Weekly thing. That was so. Oh, thank you so much, Wasim. I should have popped this up earlier. MMT is greater. Yeah. Well, listen, Entertainment Weekly used to be cool, but is it now? I don't know. I mean, I don't even ever go on Entertainment Weekly anymore. So maybe we are. Maybe we're coming up. Apple releasing Emancipation. Steven, good evening to you, by the way. Isn't the dumbest thing they've done? They gave the Russos money to... Oh, man. So true. Cherry's terrible. Gray Man's worse than Cherry. The Russo brothers, in my world right now, if I am a studio advisor, if I am working for a studio, and they say, hey, what about the Russo brothers? I say, no chance. We are not making a movie with the Russo brothers because they made Cherry and they made The Gray Man. And between those two films, I cannot trust them to make a film that is watchable. I mean, that's as unvarnished as it gets. And this is why the studios do not want me to come to their parties, because I did it again. I said the Russos are unhirable because of the popcorn box that'll never go away, The Gray Man. Gosling and Evans. Which do you prefer? This whole movie sucks. Oh my God, it's so bad. Get out of here. Okay, so yeah, but that's what we do. It's the truth. Way to be independent. That's exactly right. That is who I am as a person. Scenario is independent of thought. Critical thinker on my own. I don't need to follow the hive. I don't ever want to be part of the group think unless it's the right think. I would never in a million years ever say, oh, everything the Democrat says is right. Everything the Republican says is right. Whatever it is. No. Let's look at each individual issue and decide what the truth is in it. And there always is truth. And then I will make my decision. That's why when you have a stance on, COVID, if I say to you that, largely I live my life how I always lived over the past 2 years, and I'm here with you tonight. When I tell you that, then someone's going to say, oh, you didn't take COVID seriously. You want to kill people. Oh, my God. No, I just said that. So be independent in thought. Don't ever try to be part of the hive mind. They're scared of me. Well, listen, ultimately, especially as this show grows, I got to be honest with you guys, as the show grows, the power grows. And let me tell you, and it's not mine. I think I already have whatever it is. It is what it is. It's you guys, because there are very few shows that do what we do, which is basically a live Twitter session, right? I am reading your tweets, the comments, and then we riff. So if you come on and say Amsterdam sucks, and then the studio, oh my God, now he's amplifying voices, which is what we want to do. That's what I ultimately want to do. But amplify the voices that are right. Okay? So you can't come on here and say Amsterdam was good, like I believe Lonely Lizard did. Oh my God, you can't be that wrong, okay? I'm sorry. Eric, you're being mean. Too bad. You can't do it. You can't do it. Maybe Apple wants to concentrate on Killers of the Flower Moon next year. They can do multiple films. You know, Apple has the money to hire the staff. I'm available. Freelance. I'll go in again. Apple. I will come in for a set fee, and it's not free. Let me tell you right now, even though I'm giving it to you for free tonight. I would walk in, and you know this. You guys know this. I would walk into Apple /Netflix /Hulu / wherever you want to go. Warner Brothers, Universal, Sony, Disney. I would walk in, and I would swear to God, knowing what's right, I would say exactly what needs to be said. And we need more of that in this business. You cannot have this, oh, your movie's so great. No, great examples. Okay, so I'm going to tell you as we wrap this up, I'm going to go into it because I'm allowed to, because it already screened. There's some reviews out. I saw Devotion the other night, okay? So I'm going to get into this later, but I feel like talking about it right now. And then we'll probably wrap. Devotion is a film coming from Sony at the end of November. Now, there might be a review embargo, so I'm not going to drill down on things, but I'm going to say this. When I sat through Devotion the other night at CAA, the most powerful agency on the planet, okay? I got to say, man, when you walk into CAA, it is like, you feel like, okay, I'm in the presence of like gods. It is literally like a temple. And you walk in and you go into the screening room, which by the way is huge. It's like a full-size theater. I sat through Devotion, and the director's there, and so is a lot of people from CAA, agents and writers. All these people are there. Big Hollywood crowd. And I watched Devotion, and man, listen, when I came out of it, and when it was over, I said, man, I would have loved to have seen this film before you screened it tonight and then given you notes. Because there are so many things with that film that I would change that you don't even need to reshoot. You need to restructure. You need to edit. And you need to amplify and de-amplify certain parts of the film. And that's what I want to do. And I know that, listen, oh, great, you want to do it. But ultimately, when you have a track record, which I do over the past 10 plus years, when you have a track record that is largely dead on, then you have a really good idea of what is working and what is not working. And that is a skill that, hell yeah, I want to get paid for. But I want to walk in and I would say, listen, Sony, this film has a chance. I like aspects of it, but we got to restructure it. We need to move things around. It's almost like you watch it. It's like a test screen, right? Of one. And I would say, I would take this, move it here, slide this here, cut here, get rid of this performance, do that, bring it in at 145 instead of 210. And you know what's going to happen? Devotion's a better film. And it's a shame we don't have people who do that, who are really skilled at it. And I know I would be good at it. And I think that's why you guys watch the channel, is because that's what I do, is we look at a film and we say, where's it work? Where's it not work? And how can we make it better? So it's not just like a critique, like this movie wasn't for me. Okay. That's not going to work. When I watch a Devotion, when I watch Hellraiser, whatever the film is, Hellraiser, quickly, and then we're going to close tonight. When I watch Hellraiser, I say, we have a film right here that needs to be 15 minutes shorter. And there's a way. I told you that it takes an hour to kick in. You got to make that beginning roll faster. You got to take 15 minutes out of that front end, and then you can make the film get to the conclusion, because it spends a lot of time in a house at the end, okay, without giving away. You need to make it get there faster. So when I watch a film, I'm thinking these things while I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, I like that. Like, oh, I would change that. I would do this. So it's almost like you're constantly evaluating. I told you guys, it's like a sliding scale constantly. You're looking at a film going, what works, what didn't work. Ooh, I love that. I love that. Let's keep that. Let's do. So it's almost like you're watching it, but again, you're 3D eyeing it. When you do that magic eye, when you all of a sudden you see the whole thing, that's what I'm doing. You're looking at all the aspects of the film and you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and then to slide things in and out. When I look at a smile, I can tell you what works. The score works, cinematography works. That title sequence, oh my God. The smile title sequence is unbelievable. The title card, the way that I couldn't have even conceptualized something better. And that's when you watch that, you go, oh my, that's perfect. You know, you get excited. Like the second time I saw Smile, I go, oh yeah, I screamed. Everyone, like, what the hell? No, that title sequence and what it does when it goes Smile and it goes, dude, that was unbelievable. One of the best I've ever seen. So we're looking for those moments that pop, that deliver like above, like not here, it's like all the way up here, right? So when you're all the way up there, then that's where you want to be. Obviously, the whole entire film, you're never going to get there. Very few films are up here the whole time that are perfect. When I watch Devotion, you're looking at a film that is flatlining. You're looking at something that needs to have more punch. You need to rearrange the film to get it more enticing and more enthralling off the front end of it. And these are little things that we're going to teach you over time here on MMT. So it's movie deconstruction. We're going to rename the channel. That's not as good as Midnight Movie Talk. I'm done. That was an hour. I've been going nonstop. I love all of you guys, and thank you again. If you've not liked and subscribed, please do so. I know you have because you're here, but we're almost there. Once we get, I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again as we wrap here tonight. When we get monetized, which is coming soon, you can have things such as Mia Goth's head. Okay, we can give away Mia Goth. I will mail you Mia Goth's head. I'm never going to give you guys the Gray Man popcorn box. I need to keep this. I told you I have so much. There's so much shit coming in right now. But you got to get monetized. Can't mail this. It's alcohol. If I do, I get arrested. But there's plenty of stuff that we can send out to loyal watchers. Make it happen. Get anybody to subscribe. We got to get the number up, and then here it comes. But honestly, I'm cool with what we got. Seriously, heart to heart. Totally cool. If this is what we have it. I love it. I love the community. You guys are awesome. Thank you. That's a wrap. I don't know when we'll be back on. Maybe Tuesday, definitely Thursday. I don't know if I'm going to do one. Just check the community tab. Follow me on Twitter. You already knew that. And I'll see you back here soon. Maybe Tuesday, definitely Thursday. I'll see you soon. Good night. MMT is out.